happened is that voice recognition system started to be used in the medical field, for example, where surgeons actually were dictating all the various parts of the operation so that people for example, in war zones can actually apply some of the operational procedures whilst they are completely in a different place. So it became a learning tool rather than just a dictaphone, an automated dictaphone. So again, think about the opportunities here rather than the immediate function, the here and now. The foundation is all about this, what Andrew already said. So it's about enhancing, empowering, enriching, and engaging the learner, the actual institutions, and indeed the companies that we work with. We deliver our mission through sort of 4 functions. Research, we do a lot of research in that field, and Andrew has led on quite a number of research pieces on our behalf. Supporting professional development, we run a fantastic, a massive program of industrial fellowship scheme throughout the UK, and I think all the Northern Irish colleges have taken part in this scheme, but again, more is available. We engage in knowledge and technology transfer. Norman mentioned the word knowledge and technology transfer in his presentation. It's a key constituent, we feel, for the FE sector. And yesterday I was at the House of Lords and at the Parliamentary and Scientific Committee, which again I have the privilege to sit on. And David Willits was launched recently the TIC centres, the Technology and Innovation Centres, and he was asking for models of operation and what we can help him with, how we can operationalise these TIC centres. So I think again Northern Ireland could play a fantastic role in designing and submitting, if you like, a proposal outlining the opportunity for linking knowledge and technology transfer between businesses, the likes of Dell, and indeed the universities around here. More about that later on, and in fact everything we do has to embrace the element of innovation. Innovation is a central plank of our work. We work with business, over 350 companies across the UK, in fact a bit more than that now. And we work with colleges, again, throughout the UK, over 200 colleges we support through grant applications. The chair of the board talked about the changing landscape and that continuous change and how do we turn that change into an opportunity. And in business, and I do run businesses, by the way, that's not my day job, I do run businesses as well. And, you know, technology businesses, one of my technology businesses that I'm looking at the present time is the development of, for example, new energy light bulbs, but using some of the inventions around doping effectively the surface of the light bulb, the plastic, to be able to get maximum life, minimum consumption of energy, and durability. So these are the sort of things, and cost effectiveness. So these are the sort of things that we're trying to invent in one of these technology incubators, new businesses, trying to take them to market. So I'd like to leave you with the message of you think about your light bulb and how you're going to take that light bulb to market. So if we look at the landscape today, it's changing quite dramatically. Whether we look at the political shift and the political transformation that's happening at the present time, and how do you sensitize and stabilize your institution against that sort of constant political change in terms of funding and the need to move towards mixed economy system, reducing the reliance on the public purse, looking at sort of the different strategies in terms of addressing your social needs as well as the economic needs in your region, and looking at, for example, the constant change in technologies. I come from an IC background. I come from an integrated circuit design background. So by the time we used to sort of finish one set of chips, designing them, actually the technology moved on. You know, I used to sort of, when I started life working for Philips, the technology was 8 micron to produce the silicon chips. And, you know, by the time I actually left the educational sector, it was sub-micron. So we're talking about from 8 micron to, you know, 0.1 or 0.2 of a micron in a space of 10 years. Significant change. So unless we actually change with that, because it's new processes, new technologies, new applications, a new method of applying, all that has to change to respond to market needs. So you need to think about that all the time. New materials. Again, the Minister mentioned composites technology, and I would like to share with you in a minute some of the developments in that area. Looking at the market, the expectations of market needs in terms of students, learners, the marketplace, If you're embracing the international market, then you need to look at the international market opportunities as well. These are sort of some of what I call in the business terms the horizontal propositions, but if we look at some of the verticals and the vertical markets, you can see some of the digital creativity. It's important and it's growing. The advanced manufacturing techniques are changing dramatically from what they were in the 90s and certainly in 2000. Low carbon agenda, it's becoming a legislative in many cases, and how are you going to embrace that in the teaching as well as sort of curriculum, campus, as well as in the community? How do you impact that within those sort of areas? And looking at some of the technologies used in teaching and learning. Norman mentioned the word change, and it's going to appear in many presentations, and I'm pleased to say that it's in my presentation as well, the word change, in terms of all these things that we just talked about. So how do you respond to that constant change? Now, it's changing the modus operandi as far as industry, moving away from the traditional sort of waiting for companies to tell us what they want and then we go and deliver. It's actually looking at market expectation and anticipating the market changes. If I was in business just to wait for the market to tell me what's going to happen without looking into the future, without sort of undertaking some form of horizon scanning, we basically set ourselves to fail right from the outset. So it is important to look at the how do you maximize that opportunity for mixed economy system? How do you actually look at the opportunities beyond what is happening here and now into the future? And understanding the needs. I think the chair of the governors talked about we listen to companies, and that's why we're successful. I think listening is quite important in colleges. Andrew mentioned that I'm involved with a governor of 3 colleges, and we do some listening, and I think we need to do a bit more listening and anticipating the market. Andrew is an advocate about sort of the role of colleges and civic leadership, and I think that you mustn't forget about that. At the end of the day, you are partly funded by the public purse. There is an expectation from the community about what the college should be offering and addressing some of the problems, the challenges, whether it's economic challenges or indeed social challenges. So I think these need to be factored in any strategy or thinking that you have as an institution, as a college. The change also in terms of the courses. I just get sick of tired to go to look at curriculum which is absolutely not fit for the purpose. When you look at what companies are developing today and what's their expectation in terms of technology development, because they have that projection, that trajectory in terms of using technologies to keep that competitive advantage for their companies, and yet the colleges are delivering courses that are of yesterday's technologies. I went and visited a college about 2 weeks ago, and the principal was so proud to demonstrate to me that he invested X million pounds in this fabulous facility, yet it is redundant. And I said to him, did you know that actually the world has moved on? Have you expected that you need to embrace X, Y, and Z? Few million pounds, in my view, down the drain. So I think that's important to think about the strategic investment and how that is calculated and how the decision is made and where do you want to position yourself. So the modus operandi definitely is changing. The qualifications are changing. Again, I was in Abu Dhabi last 2 weeks ago, and we looked at, for example, some of the low-carbon technologies and how they can re-equip and re-enhance the knowledge of the workforce very quickly, very rapidly, to factor in the renewable technologies, whether it's photovoltaics or whether it's wind or whether it's a different form of bio-based technology generation away from the hydrocarbon and the fossil fuel type of technologies. And they wanted here and now, I'm paying for it, I want something fit for the purpose, I want it quick. So, colleges can't faff around for a long time waiting to design courses, upload them on the various systems to get the approval. That time to market, that lag needs to happen and needs to happen fast. The Thanet development of the shores of Kent, for example, significant development. But did you know that we actually don't have the workforce to deliver that technology? This is all technology. It embraces all sort of things. ICT is part of it because you're actually transmitting all sort of data. It's part of the smart grid development. And you need to understand how the protocols operate, how they're going to be serviced, how they're going to be controlled, how they're going to be integrated into the various sort of forms of energy management. So there is a phenomenal amount of stuff there beyond the manufacture of obviously of the blades and the turbines and the various components of that particular development. So again, it's an important area. The Minister talked about the composites technology. If you look at the Southwest, for example, Airbus manufacturing their wings, and we just managed to win the contract for wings to build the Airbus here in the UK. Otherwise, the French would have had it. And what happened is actually we don't have any of the technicians to deliver the composites technology needed to build the wings in the Southwest. So again, it's a great opportunity, and this sort of technology, it's in everything, with the manufacturing of these things in the future, manufacturing of my mobile phone, manufacturing of the hip replacement, whatever you can think of, it's actually composites technology will be part and parcel of that packaging, or of that moving away from metal aluminium base to composites. Looking at the nuclear development, massive program of nuclear development taking place. Do we have the know-how?